You told Andre, man, that's a bad idea, man, to keep getting from Boog. I decided to set their ass up with the DEA. So I went to the DEA and told them the situation. Did this, man. This dude was responsible for my little brother's death, and I want to help y'all get him, because I know y'all looking for him. So they prefer to have Boog. They let me go for my participation.
Despite working with the DEA, Nate Boone Craft went to do one last hit with the best friends.
Well, I had no choice. Either go with him or they would have killed me right then and there. So they shoot him to stop him from going so they could finish the guy in the back. They opened the door of the cab, Luck did, emptied the M16 in his ass. Then, a few seconds later, I felt like somebody was pushing me.
After killing the target and the cab driver, Chuck Wilkes and Lucky shot Boone in an assassination attempt.
That's me getting hit in the back, chest, arm, leg, and so forth. But they say that, oh, it was an accident.
Boone lived but was charged and convicted for second-degree murder in the cab driver's death.
That fucked my deal.
Terrence Boog Brown never made it to the best friends trial. He was killed in Atlanta and wrapped in his polo bed sheets by other members of the inner circle of best friends on the eve of making a $600,000 cocaine purchase.
Because they felt that, hey, Boo helping us knock off everybody in the group. You can't be best friends if you're doing your own friends. And that's what Boo was doing. Boo was knocking off his own people.
Steve Fishman defended Thomas K.O. Carr in the best friends trial.
Best friends got indicted in federal court. I represented Thomas Carr. Everybody, they had about 45 or 50 dead people in this trial. Most dead bodies I've ever had, where they actually charged it and tried to, they only tried to prove, I think, and did prove, because the jury found them guilty of them, maybe 7 or 8. But when you would cross-examine the witnesses, well, that was when so-and-so, Walter Daniels, got killed on Gratiot. Talking about murder was like talking about, you know, your dog ran in front of a car. I mean, it was just, Nathaniel Craft testified in the best friends case. He really needed to be on TV in one of those detective or police movies because he played the role of the tough guy and the big hitman. He scared the shit out of a couple of the lawyers. He claimed he was a hitman for the best friends, and he killed this guy or he killed that guy, and he was smart. He's a smart guy. Look, he basically was advertising. If you want someone killed, call me. I mean, that's basically what his testimony was. He got convicted of everything, and then the next thing I heard, he cooperated, and he's out. He got a sentence reduction, and he got Rule 35, they call it. And he cooperated, and I know he's out.
So far, I don't know one that haven't cooperated. That's why they just get life in prison without parole.
They brought in Charles Wilkes, and he admitted to 15 homicides, 12. And they gave him like a 15-year cap. He's out. Lock your doors and windows. He's out. But yeah, it was a murder case. It was a mass murder case is what it was.
If they wouldn't have killed my little brother, none of this would have happened. We'd all still been out there doing our thing. But that brought down best friends.
After the best friends trial, Boone entered witness protection.
The D got a badass rep, man, you know what I mean? And it's only a few of us out here, man, that now went in, man, and ain't never ratted on nobody, gas.
But they put them in a position where they don't have any choice other than to make deals with people. And I've found over time that very often, guys whose reputation in the street is, they never tell, they all do life, they all walk on nails with no shoes on. They have been, but they don't really tell, they don't come in and testify. They just give information, let's say, about people they don't like or people they're at war with. And it's one of the vagaries of being involved in these kinds of cases.
Sammy the Bull, all the motherfuckers was in there. I was in there with Sammy the Bull, White Boy Red.
How the fuck do you tell the motherfucker and go to jail? Like the motherfuckers who ratted on me. Them dumb bitches was sitting up in jail with me. What was the point of telling?
When I got there, White Boy Rick had signed me in, and next morning I met with him and told him the deal was. I said, man, did this, man. I knew what happened at the state prison. You thought I was coming in to hit you, which was true. But here, I'm not down like that no more. I'm just like you. I'm a snitch, a turncoat, a fink, or whatever people want to call me. But I call it getting back at the niggas that killed my brother.
Cereal, no milk. Dishes in a sink. Go the brother running around getting money wearing minks. Won't buy nothing to eat. Always buy drinks. Get the whole house drunk. Then shit pop off. Mama boyfriend tripping about a dime got lost. Mine is lost. Smoke a blunt.
Detroit. Police there were called in to break up scuffles after tens of thousands of people turned out to apply for grants from the federal government for housing and utilities. As the desperate crowd got larger, some people fainted, others fought.
The city got enough federal money to help 3,500 families pay rent and utilities, but police say 35,000 showed up instead.
This is a travesty. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
And then tempers started to flare.
It's ridiculous. People falling out, fighting, this is crazy.
At least 5 people were hurt in scuffles. Some fainted. More than 100 police officers tried to calm an anxious crowd faced with too much desperation and too few resources.
I am Pastor Spencer T. Ellis. I pastor the church in the northwest side of Detroit in the Brightmoor community called Citadel of Praise. Brightmoor is a very impoverished neighborhood in the city of Detroit. Majority of the people in the city were employed by the automobile industry of one of the subsidiaries, and of course we begin to experience these massive layoffs. So depression began to sink in. Anytime you have a person that's dealing with depression, the first thing they're looking for is a way out. First thing, how can I alleviate my pain, alleviate my fear? I got laid off. I don't know which way I'm going to go. Now, with the economy being so bad, we all feel like it's a dog-eat-dog world. You get yours, I get mine.
More than 20 years after the height of the drug era in Detroit, the city presents a bleak visage. The Big Three hangs on in a few scattered factories, and the streets that generated the hundreds of millions in drug money are shadows of their former selves. For the kids that grew up in the aftermath of YBI, Best Friends, and the rest, selling drugs has become just another low-wage job.
Man, I first started at 12, man. You know what I'm saying? I used to skip school, go sit up with them boys, them chamber boys. My auntie boyfriend was messing with them. I remember real vividly, man. I get up, boom, brush my teeth. I hit the door. My grandma think I'm going to school. I'm on my way to the Trizzy. Get to the spot, you know what I'm saying? Lock the doors down. They drop the whoop off. Nothing but nickels in that mud so big where you could cut them boys in half, sell them for 20.
Money was just flowing everywhere when you're talking about crack cocaine. Money was just, it was just an easy way out. So now young people start looking at this and saying, instead of working at McDonald's making $4.50 an hour, hey, I can sell crack because crack is the biggest thing going. Cocaine is the biggest thing going.
It'll never be another YVI, it'll never be another BMF, it'll never be another nothing, man. All that shit is over with.
The streets is dead, man. These young motherfuckers out here ain't doing nothing, man. You know, we was cashing out for cars. Niggas riding in cars, they paying no song, man.
It's fucked up out here now compared to the way it used to be.
Man, I helped tear this community up, so I helped try to put something back, man. And in 2010, we got to keep going forward, man. Take advantage of all our opportunities, man, to make this shit right.
They used to say it takes a village to raise the children. It ain't no village left to raise, you know what I'm saying? They done tore it all down.
So, of course, all of us at 12 and 13 and 14 years old, like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to drive a drop-top Benz. And I had a personal friend that actually somehow got caught up into that drug war, making simple runs for whoever he was making runs for, delivering drugs. And even to this day, we never know who did it, never found the guy, and we buried him at 14 years old, a great, wonderful young man. My friend was actually gunned down at 7 Mile in Greenfield, right behind the store. It's a CVS now. It used to be a gas station there.
I think it's unfair for the society to hold young people as if they are insane.
The drug economy is mainstream in this city. Young kids who are in the dope game are talked about almost like disease vectors. They're talked about almost like you hear people talking about rats. You know, what we need to do is clean our communities of this scourge. I'm Luke Bergman. I'm Director of Research at the City of Detroit Health Department. Most of what I'm involved in has to do in some form or fashion with substance abuse treatment and substance abuse prevention services. It's powerful to watch the impact that alcohol has on them, actually, because very few young black folks in Detroit do hard drugs. You know, the hardest of the hard living that they're doing, I think, is because they are drinking at insane levels and motivated by the fact that they are profoundly depressed. They sort of lose any sense of focus or purpose for the most part whatsoever. They're not engaged in any institution. They're not in high school, they're not in college, they're not employed. They've just become, you know, totally wayward.
Dr. Luke Bergman wrote the book Getting Ghost after working with young drug dealers in Detroit's juvenile detention facility.
That is a book that grew out of my PhD thesis that I wrote while I was at the University of Michigan, which was about the experiences of young African American drug dealers working in Detroit. And I spent most of that time living on the west side of Detroit, just off of Linwood Avenue, in what's usually called the sort of Dexter-Linwood area. And I was living on a little street called Pingree. You know, it doesn't make sense to move around the Linwood-Dexter area if you don't understand that something catastrophic has happened there.
Rodney was the alias Bergman used for the young Detroiter from the Dexter-Collingwood area that he grew closest to.
And Rodney was kind of this extremely active, extremely charismatic, rowdy young kid. He was 17 at that time. You know, his reputation definitely preceded him, which is really saying something, because there's some crazy cats out on Dexter. I would drive them to schools in the morning. I would, tutor them in reading afterwards. And then they would be, chopping up rocks and selling on the front porch steps, after tutoring.
To change your attitude and to change your demeanor, I got to change your culture and change your environment. So just like in church, I can preach to a guy and we can shout and wave our hand and get happy. At the end of the day, guess where you go back? To the same place, and everybody in your community is doing the same thing. You call your boys up, guess where they going? They going to the strip club. They going to get high. They going to rob a liquor store.
The drug that was being sold the most was heroin in paper packs. Certainly it was the drug that was bringing in the most money. And then a lot of weed was being sold. You'd walk in the liquor store and the weed man would say trees when you walked in, etc. So it's just sort of like, like being offered a coupon when you're going shopping or something.
There's another way of life, and that's the challenge that we have. I don't know if I have the answer to that, because that's where it's going to take not only President Obama, but it's going to take everybody up under him to now, we got to change our neighborhood, because I can change you.